Watch this.
Oh, baby, we made it through the week. And what a week it was. We're glad you're with us. Ahead on the 208 for you on this Friday edition. Tonight, the boyhood dreams of some top Boise State Broncos could come true. Sports director Jay Tuss joins us live for the prospect of Broncos making it to the National Football League. Yes, we've got live NFL draft coverage for you. For 70 years, KTVB has been a part of the fabric of Idaho. Through heartbreak and triumph, the Circle 7 has been there. But do you know about the pioneers behind the formative KTVB years? Well, we got a special Friday feature for you coming up. And yes, Friday means we're looking at your questions, comments, ideas, everything from the week. So strap in. We are ready to rock here on a Friday. The 208 starts right now. Hello and welcome to Friday. So glad you're with us. And we don't normally do a lot of sports here on the 208 other than our favorite Steelheads coverage. But today's a special day because it's the second day of the NFL draft. So why is the second day so important? Don't all the good players go in the first round? No, not necessarily. But today, one of our very own Boise State Broncos, they could get drafted to play in the National Football League. And here to talk all about it with us, KTVB Sports Director Jay Tuss. Jay, what's the word? We're going to get some Broncos on the board?
Yeah, I think so today, or at least one. J.L. Skinner is likely going to be the first Bronco to hear his name called at the 2023 NFL Draft. Boise State hasn't had a safety drafted since 2016. Darian Thompson spent a little time in the league with the Giants and the Cowboys, but J.L. has been outstanding throughout the entire pre-draft process. Joe, he suffered a little bit of an injury that kept him from competing at the Combine as well as on Pro Day, but he interviewed with every single team in the NFL, likely at least twice. Just last week, he told me that he took a trip out to Chicago to meet with the Bears at their facility. So his size, his versatility will make him a highly coveted prospect of the NFL draft this year.
And another big name we're watching, and I think Boise State Broncos fans will recognize this name too.
Yeah, Scott Matlock. He's a Homedale High alumnus, played at Boise State the last few years. I actually just caught up with Scott today. He told me he talked to the majority of the NFL teams. He took 5 different visits to NFL cities over the last couple of weeks. One of them was to the LA Chargers, where he met with Kellen Moore, the offensive coordinator. Obviously, Scott is on the defensive side of the ball, but it was his first time meeting Kellen, so it was cool to see those two Broncos connect.
So maybe some synergy there. And, of course, the draft just started at 5 o'clock, so we'll keep an eye on it.
Literally about 90 seconds ago.
Okay. Also, some fun news for Boise State fans, Boise State student athletes, of course. The Horseshoe Collective came out with its first batch of Golden Ale. And, Jay, this is a NIL deal.
Yep.
It's an opportunity so that they can benefit the Boise student athletes, all the athletes. We're not just talking about football here. And you can actually go grab a special 6-pack right now. Jay, you took us inside the special brewery.
Yeah, it just wrapped up yesterday, so here's your first look at it.
Ooh.
Yeah, we've actually been pretty stoked on this release. The beer is fantastic. Also, just the collaboration there with the Horseshoe Collective is really cool. We're all a bunch of big sports guys here. Also, we've all taken that moral ground on, paying guys that are making money for other people, so obviously they deserve it. So it's a Golden Ale, the Horseshoe Collective Golden Ale, Western Collective brewed. Can start here, come down a little chute, fills them over there at the filler, across to the seamer where it puts the lids on it, around the corner over here, gets labeled over here, pack tech, and throw them in a box into the stack. Pretty sure Leon drew the basketball play here. Not certain about the football play, but I'm pretty sure someone over there drew it up for us. So stoked. We're very excited for it. Really light-bodied, crisp finish, middle of the road, maltiness and bitterness. It's like a great summertime drinking beer for sure. The lighter stuff is really nice because you can drink more than one of them and not have to worry about it.
Okay, first off, I was kind of blown away with how good these turned out.
Yeah.
These are really cool cans, by the way. So I'm going to show you this play first. This was actually drawn up by Andy Avalos, the head coach of the Boise State football team. The thing I like about it, so oftentimes when you see stuff like this, it's offensive plays. You know Andy did it because this is a defensive play. He even drew the hash marks on it. And then on this side, you have a basketball play drawn up by head coach Leon Rice. Now, I asked Leon, is there any special meaning behind this play? He just wrote back over text that it's almost too complicated to explain over a simple text message, but there is a special story behind it. So I'll get out there and try to get that.
Okay, our Jay Tust, he's out there. He's always chasing the story. Jay,
These
you
are
and I
awesome,
will have
though.
to check some of these out after
Yeah,
the show.
exactly. There's a watch part, a celebration of this release party. There you go, tomorrow from 1 to 4 o'clock, and should be kind of fun.
All right, Jay. I'll keep an eye on those for you, no problem. Well, as you know, here on the 208, Jay, come back with us. We like to have a conversation with all of you at home, especially on Fridays. And one of the stories that we got a lot of comments and a lot of response on this week was our feature on an Eagle man, Buzz Hudson, the World War II veteran and rodeo star who turned 100 years old this week. Take a look.
A Tuesday in April
You're the star of the show.
isn't usually a day that stands out for a lot of people,
Okay, tuck it in the back.
unless that person
Your hands are cold.
No, they're not.
is a veteran.
Okay, gotcha.
And that day,
Come in, come in.
April 25th,
Hey, birthday boy.
is his 100th birthday.
How do I feel? I feel good.
Franklin Bus Hudson
Yeah, I feel good.
is getting a lot of visitors today.
Glad we could come celebrate your birthday today.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I
Dad,
remember
this
you
is
now.
Tim, the chaplain.
We brought you some chocolate cake.
Bus may be slow to get around these days,
Why is everybody coming here?
but still quick with a joke.
It's my 54th birthday. We're celebrating, can't you understand?
It's that sense of humor and good looks
He's handsome,
that charmed his wife Louise 72 years ago.
a great kisser. What else do you want to know?
Maybe a little about his military service. Born on the plains of West Texas,
The doctor came all the way out there to deliver me, and I think he was in a buggy.
Bus followed his brothers into the Army in World War II.
I was a cowboy in an Army uniform, but I'll tell you one thing, I was a damn good soldier.
His first brush with danger came on the trip across the Atlantic as his ship dodged depth charges and icebergs.
And it's going up this way and then coming down and going up this way. And the water would be up here. Next thing you know, the water would be down there. I never will forget that night. I thought we was going to freeze to death.
Bus's European tour began in France and continued northeast.
I was with Patton's Third Army over in Germany. I was a tank commander, and I didn't even know what I was doing. I thought, well, if I stay here long enough, I'll figure it out, you know. But
Bus remembers having to figure out how to follow the infantry into a town one morning on a road too narrow for tanks.
came back up. I said, okay, James, put it in low gear and get through this hole. And so I meant for him to just tear the front of the building off, but I said, okay, everybody button up, you know, and wham, bam, bang. And looking around that whole damn building, found out.
Bus returned to Texas at the end of the war to tend to his horses. A rodeo brought him to Boise the first time in 1957, and he returned for good in 1976, buying a 17-acre ranch in Eagle.
I mostly fooled with horses, training horses, roping, rodeo, and everything. And I just more or less played for a living.
And raised a family, which now extends
That's my baby boy.
to 4 generations.
I haven't seen you in so long.
It was a run that went faster than Bus expected.
You know, they say that time really flies when you're having fun. We must have had a hell of a lot of fun because time sure got away with us. It sneaked up on us, you know. And next thing you know, we're old.
But still living
I'm deaf, I can't hear, I'm blind as a bat.
like he's 90.
But thank God I still got my driver's license.
Don't tell anyone. He still takes advantage of it once in a while. But we got a lot of great comments from you about this story, wishing Bud a very happy birthday and, of course, thanking him for his service to our country. And some of you even know Bud, saying him and his wife Louise are good-hearted, amazing people. But how about this? Marianne adds, I was so happy to see him doing so well. I purchased a horse from him about 20 years ago and didn't have a place to board it. So he said I could keep it there a few weeks, which turned into many years. And I became good friends with him and his family. And this is a photo from November 2009. He was still wowing the crowd at the team roping event, but he's too humble to tell you all the famous Idaho people he trained and sold horses. And he said, they asked us, did you happen to ask him what BUS stood for? That's a great story. And Marianne, we don't know what BUS stood for, so we will have to circle back on this one, hopefully another time. This year, KTVB is celebrating 70 years of broadcasting as Idaho's very first television station. And there are dozens of people who have made KTVB. But it all started with one woman, Georgia Davidson. And our Doug Petcash explains in this Friday feature.
I think she knew she had done an accomplishment, but she was never bragful. That's not her nature.
In a time when women were typically left at home to raise the family, Georgia Davidson bucked the trend.
Very compassionate, very kind. She had wonderful wisdom. She also had a wonderful sense of humor.
Georgia Marie Newport was born in May 1907 in Notice, Idaho. She went on to attend the University of Oregon. That's where she met her future husband, Curtis Phillips, affectionately known as Kiddo. During a trip to visit her parents in Idaho in 1928, they noticed an ad in the local newspaper. A radio station, KFAU, was up for sale. They placed a bid, won, and then moved to Boise to run it. KFAU eventually became KIDO. In 1942, Kiddo died of a heart attack, leaving Georgia a widow with 2 young girls.
She was a very happy woman, even with the sudden death of her first husband.
In 1946, she married Boise businessman R. Mowbray Davidson and became Georgia Davidson.
The two of them were a wonderful pair. They had a lot of fun. He always called her Mom.
And the grandkids called him Grandpa Mobe.
They loved each other dearly, as you can see in one of the photos. They just took pleasure in each other. They took pleasure in family. Family was important to both of them.
Georgia's granddaughter, Christy McEntee, says growing up she would spend a lot of time at their home on Warm Springs in Boise and remembers some odd visitors that, looking back, may have been pure coincidence.
They always had peacocks there, which was interesting. I mean, she didn't bring them in, they just were there, which is kind of funny when she joined NBC.
The following program is brought to you in living color.
In 1952, the freeze on new television stations across the country was lifted by the FCC, and Georgia filed to bring a station to Idaho. In 1953, that application was accepted and KIDO-TV was born. On July 12th of that year, KIDO-TV went on the air for the very first time as an NBC affiliate. At NBC network meetings, Georgia would be one of the only women in the room of more than 120 men.
Women, at the table and kind of in those big rooms, if you think about what NBC was like at that time in the 50s, they were a couple of very few, if not the only, women that were really there and present.
She had wonderful support from the men in the community. They had a wonderful network and they would bounce ideas off each other, and she was the only female in the group.
In 1956, Georgia hired a familiar face.
I went to work here August 13th, 1956, which was a Monday.
Her son-in-law, Bob Kruger.
In 1951, I married her daughter.
That daughter was Betty Davidson. Georgia and Bob met in McCall when Bob was working the boat docks at the Shore Lodge. In 1959, 3 years after Kruger was hired, Georgia called him into her office.
And she looked at me and she said, "I've got to sell KIDO radio."
She really took on some big risks, and I have tremendous respect and admiration for that.
So Georgia sold KIDO AM to a man by the name of Bill Boeing Jr., the son of the founder of Boeing Aircraft. That same year, KIDO-TV changed its call letters to KTVB. Georgia, Bob, and the rest of KTVB then focused solely on running Idaho's first television station. Georgia soon went to part-time and began spending a lot of time outdoors. In 1971, KTVB moved to its current location on Fairview Avenue.
We had the dedication on her birthday in May of 1971.
KTVB became even more of a family affair when Christy came to work in the traffic department.
I do have to say, when I did start work here, God bless her, she said, "Don't you dare call me Grandma."
So she called her Gigi. Everyone else?
They called her Mrs. Davidson. No, that's part of her being proper. I mean, it was a very comfortable work environment, but you had your boundaries.
In 1980, Georgia decided to sell the station to Dorothy Bullitt, her friend who owned King Broadcasting in Seattle.
And I think a big part of that was the admiration that they had for each other, the mutual respect, that they were both women well ahead of their time.
Georgia passed away in 1997 at the age of 89, but she paved the way for future generations of female leaders at KTVB.
To work at a station that really has had fantastic female leadership, and it even started with female leadership, right? Like, I was hired by a female news director when I don't think there were that many. And to be able to grow and be supported and be inspired is just not something that you get everywhere. And knowing it started with her just means a lot.
I think Georgia's legacy at Channel 7 is really that deep commitment and service to the community. That idea that we can be a part of what helps connect people, that we can really help bring people shared understanding, that we can help shine a light on things that maybe were in the shadows. That commitment to community has been a part of, News Channel 7 since day one. And I think that all started with Georgia.
And we want to show you something else. Take a look at this. Larry Taylor, an anchor here at Channel 7 from 1975 to 1980. Well, he shared this photo with us and a special memory of Georgia.
And we had that softball team called the Bad News Beats one season. And Larry Manili, I think, was kind of the spearhead, the starter of all that. And just about everybody in the newsroom was on the team, and just about everybody in the newsroom ended up with a broken bone. One guy had a dislocated eye socket. They had a collision out in center field. And pretty soon Georgia Davidson said, because people were off work, she said, "No more softball. The Bad News Beats are gone."
That's a rough decision, and some of us, though, here, fast forward to 2023, we're on a newsroom softball team right now, and we often finish our games bloodied and bruised and broken bones. Andrew Bartline and I, we take care of most of the team injuries. That's what we do. I actually broke my rib last year. So funny enough, our team name is the Bad News Beers, and we didn't even know that there was a historic Bad News Beats KTVB team. So the more you know, go Beers, go Beats. We'll take a break. We'll be back after this. Throw away your winter jacket. You don't need it anymore. Just kidding. Just put it in the closet till next year or maybe next week. Who knows? But anyways, it's finally warm and beautiful here in the Treasure Valley. And to celebrate, why not check out the fastest growing sport in America? Have you heard of this? It's called pickleball. And I know what you might be thinking. Isn't that for old people? No, it's not. And we talked to longtime Boise resident and professional pickleball player and coach, Susanna Barr, who says otherwise. And she recently won a gold medal in an exciting mixed doubles tournament just last month. But how did she go from no to pro? Well, she said she got bored. And one day she Googled courts, watched a YouTube video, and she just got on the court and started to play.
And we just showed up and got to the gym and played with all the 60, 70-year-olds. They showed us how to play. They definitely did not take it easy on us. But it was just so much fun. And like from then on, like I was hooked. I love that it's a puzzle. Like there's always something new to try to figure out about it.
She tells us she started playing in tournaments, coaching, and now she's ranked 15th in the entire world. Right now she's playing in the Association of Pickleball Professionals Sacramento Open, and you can watch her play on the YouTube page there on their special league. But if you're still wondering what pickleball is, it's basically a combination between tennis, ping pong, and badminton. And if you want to play, yeah, courts are starting to pop up all over Idaho, so you can grab a paddle, as they call it, and you can join the other 48 million people that are playing. They say all ages are welcome. Well, to turn a little bit serious here, I just want to talk about something with you all. We all need each other in some way or another. And on a very serious note, did you know that suicide is the 9th leading cause of death in Idaho? And according to new data from the Center for Disease Control, you can tell just how serious that is. It's a very serious problem, and one that many community organizations are trying to take on across Idaho, and that includes here in the Treasure Valley with the group Boise Hive. In an effort to raise money so they can continue offering mental health services to local musicians, the Boise Hive is actually having a special benefit show tonight. The show starts at 7 o'clock at the Olympic venue in downtown Boise. Tickets are $10, and all the proceeds go to the Boise Hive. Now, the Hive was started in 2013 by a group of musicians who felt the local music community they needed some more mental health resources, and they offer a lot for the community. Mental health resources, counseling, rehearsal space, a multimedia production room, all of it to hold their great events. We'll be right back. All right, we only got time for one comment. Let's see what it is. It says, love you guys. Aw, love you too. Mwah. Whew. Throw up the best picture of the show. Oh, we don't have it.